welcome back to StarrSoap's channel. How are you today? I'm doing good. Today I'm going to be making a batch of cherry bomb soap using a new fragrance I got from Zen Designs. So come along with me and I'll show you how I make it. Squee! So first things first, we're going to add our cooled lye water to our cooled oils and goat's milk. That's all been mixed up together in the big bowl. And I'm making a double batch, which I've been doing a lot lately. It's quite exciting. So that I can restock after the Christmas break, because I sold heaps and it was great. And now I'm down to quite the bare bones of my inventory. So now that the lye has been poured into the oils, I'm going to bring it to a light trace. And then I can go ahead and scent it and mix in the colours, separate it out, and finally pour the soap. Woohoo! So, I wanted to have a little chat with you all today about new fragrances. I know some people have kind of a rule of thumb they'll do with new fragrances. They'll do a bit of research and they'll find out exactly what the usage rate is, and then they'll usually do a little test batch. In my case, I made a few small bath bombs with this fragrance and loved the way it smelled so much I decided to dive in head first and make a huge double batch of it. So I've been thinking in hindsight, because you know, 2020 hindsight, perhaps I should have made a little small batch just to test this fragrance out. That might have been a good idea. Living and learning. What I've just done here is I've mixed up a whole bunch, like about a teaspoon and a half of my pink, but it actually says that it's red mica, but it always comes out pink, and I've just added in some red oxide, which comes out like a brick red colour and sort of like a terracotta red, and so I just added that in because I'm trying to bring out the deeper, warmer, more red tones in that soap. Unfortunately, it still looks pretty jolly darn pink, but again, this is something that I know soapers all around struggle with. We always want to get the perfect red. So here's my black cherry bomb fragrance. I absolutely adore the scent. It is really hard on the tart berry and only a light scent of that sort of almond marzipan scent that you often get with cherry fragrances. And I don't particularly like the almond aspect of it, but I love that really zingy, really tart, fruity cherry. So that's what this one's really strong in, and I'm hoping that it will still smell like that in the final cured cold process soap. So now I'm just going to go ahead and pour the soap into the mould, and it's at quite a sort of a medium to thin trace here. As you can see, I've let it thicken a little, but not very much. It's still pretty watery, so I should hopefully get a really cool swirl and design in my final soaps. If I had let it get really thick, I would have been going more for layers, but because I want to get it all mixed together, that's why I'm pouring it at this trace. So here we are back again a bit later, and I've made up some extra soap, and I have scented it also in black cherry bomb and let it get nice and thick for piping. But it did not get very thick on me. I waited and waited and waited until I jolly couldn't wait anymore. So I'm having to kind of improvise, as you can see here. I'm not trying to make dollops because they won't hold their shape. I'm just sort of making wiggly squiggly lines up and down, and I actually really love how it looks. Often we find that out of desperation we discover cool new things. So if any of you want to try piping your soap a little bit runnier, kind of playing around with it, please take pictures and let me know. Post them in my group over on StarrSoapy Family on Facebook. I love to see it. I love to see when you guys do things that are inspired by me, even if they're a bit crazy like this. So as you can see, the first part that I piped on the first loaf looks the best, and everywhere else it kind of came out looking a bit like spaghetti or something. So I'm just going back with the last little bit and filling in all the little gaps, and then I'm going to come along and put my toppers on anyway, so it doesn't matter if it doesn't look perfect. So I'm going to press these toppers in. Now my toppers are made of a mixture of cold processed soap and melt and pour. I ended up trying to make my own melt and pour, and I can link below the video where I'm trying to make my melt and pour, and it came out a bit chunky, so I ended up using it and making these really groovy stars, and that's what I'm going to be putting on the top. But I also have some cranberries that I picked off the bush that grows at the end of our driveway and dried in my dehydrator. So they're like little solid hard cherry bombs. Well, cranberries technically, but I think they look really gorgeous, and I'm happy to report they have not browned or gone gross or anything on the final soap, so that's really awesome, because in the past when I've put botanicals on the top of my soap, they've gone brown and they've ended up looking yucky, and I've ended up wishing I had never put them on. So that's a cool little thing to note. Even though there is a high sugar content in these little cranberries, by drying them thoroughly they've held up and they haven't browned on the soap, so really cool. So I'm just going to go ahead now and put the toppers on, and I ran out of my groovy stars that were red, so I had to delve into some other stars that I made that are purple, but that's alright. They'll be on 4 bars, it'll be a little bit unique to the rest. So here we are, glittered, piped, toppers on, looking gorgeous. Now it's going to sit overnight, and we'll come back and see how it is when it's time to cut it. Right, this is squishy and soft like butter, as you can see. It has sat for 2 days and still has not firmed up. I have a couple of theories on this. One is that I've used too much fragrance oil because I was trying to get a really strong scented soap. 2 is that my lye that I used might have been a little bit old, and I really think it's the lye. I'm going to blame it on the lye. I had kept it in a container for too long, I think, and it had somehow got oxidized. Air had gotten in there and it just wasn't as strong. So, I mean, I don't like to give up. I refuse to give up on a batch of soap. What I have done is I've taken the end slices and smooshed and squished them into beautiful pink cherry soap dough and made a bunch of fun little things that are soap dough with them. But these bars are still in the curing rack 8 weeks later, and they haven't completely firmed up. The good thing about that, if you will, the silver lining, is that I was able to stamp them, and I actually got to stamp this batch, which I haven't been able to stamp a batch for a long time. They've just gotten too hard on me, and I haven't been able to use my stamp. But I could on this one. The bad thing is that I don't know if they're ever going to get rock hard. They still feel like if I squeezed a bar too hard, it would just collapse in my hand. And that is really sad, because these soaps turned out really beautiful, and I really want them to work. So I'm not going to give up. I may even resort to putting them in the dehydrator to see if I can't get them a little bit firmer. At the moment though, they are sitting out in my soaping room during one of the longest, hottest summers we've had here in New Zealand for a while. They're essentially sitting in a dehydrator every day. So hopefully they will firm up. I've already had one of my friends order a couple of bars. I'm pretty keen to take her a bar to give to her for free and then see if she can use it, see what happens. She'll be my little tester. But yeah, at the moment I do not feel very good about selling these soaps because they have not hardened up. So it is a really good thing to think about. If you have a new fragrance, do a little test batch. And if your lye looks a little bit old, just mix it up with some water and chuck it down the sink. It'll clear your sink out and you won't waste the oils like I did doing a big double batch that didn't quite work out. Live and learn, that's what they say. So here we have the final soaps, and I really love how they turned out. These swirls are beautiful and intricate, and if the lye had been full strength and I'd used a bit less fragrance oil, I'm pretty sure this batch would have been a winner all around. But that's cool. I'm still really happy to share it and to show you guys, and hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and you won't make the same mistakes that I've made. It's all cool. I love the soaping journey. No matter how much of an expert I feel like I am, there's often things that I come across that trip me up and I don't get them 100% right. So that's cool. I guess it's good for my humility. Yeah, these look like butterfly swirls and I love them. I haven't tried to do a butterfly for a long time, but I'm really inspired after this batch to try and do another butterfly swirl because they're beautiful. Well, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed watching me make this cherry soap as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below, become a member of our StarrSoaps family, and feel the soapy love. Bye guys!